stampers, and welcome to Laura's Stamp Pad. Today I want to show you a little quick tutorial on how to use the Wondrous Wreath Stamp Set, which is this one here. It's super fabulous. It's in the Holiday Mini Catalog, and it makes an amazing wreath because of the 3 stamps that you see here give the amazing look of a real wreath. How fabulous is that? You can see these samples here, but then I'm just going to show you how to actually stamp the stamp and use the matching framelits to cut that out. And then of course you can see all of these samples on my blog at laurastamppad.com. So let's get started. We're going to start with a piece of Whisper White cardstock here. I just have a square of that. And we're going to start with the image that has the most leaves on it. You'll see here. And I'm just going to ink that up with some of my Wild Wasabi ink. And I'm just going to rock it a little forward and actually have it add a little ink to that tip there. Here, let me move my finger from underneath. And you can see that little tip. And I know a lot of times we say don't rock it and don't smash it into the ink pad because it makes an inky mess. But I'm going to show you why it's super helpful in this one. So now we're just going to stamp it down. And I love photopolymer stamps because you can see exactly where you're stamping and you can watch the ink kind of go. Love it. And now I'm just going to kind of rock a little bit forward and add that little tab. And I'm going to show you the reason for that because you could always say, oh, the tab is always at the top, so let's just remember that. But knowing that the tab goes right there is super helpful. So now we're just going to take the next stamp, which is the one with just a few of the leaves. And we're going to add that to the block. And again, I stuck that on there. Photopolymer is super sticky, so it won't come off. And my tab is at the top. And we're going to take a darker color, Garden Green, and ink that up. And again, I'm going to rock it forward just a smidge on that tab. And then you can actually place this with the tab right there at the top. And because it's photopolymer, so you can super see where you're stamping, and you'll just stamp right on top of those leaves. So a lot of times you get confused because you don't think you're supposed to stamp right on top of an already stamped leaf, but you do. And then again, pull it off. And now you have that amazing variation of light and dark leaves on your project. Super fabulous, but you're still not done. Now we're going to take the dots, which are your little holly berries, stick that on your stamp. Again, the tab is at the top, and I'm going to ink that up with some cherry cobbler ink. Now this one I will say is a little bit trickier because you're not actually going to line the tabs up completely, because if you did line it up there up top with the tab, you'll see that it's not centered in the wreath. So you still want that tab to be pointed forward, but you're going to have to bring it down a little bit and center it in the middle of your wreath. And then just stamp down. And now you have that amazing look. But that tab is still useful. Now I'm actually going to use my framelits, which the matching framelits have the Joy Noel. That was opposite. Noel Joy. The wreath actually has like a ribbon to hang from. Here's the ribbon, and then there's a little flower which kind of looks like a little poinsettia. And then you have your 2 for the wreath. You'll notice that the 2 for the wreath actually have little tabs right here and right there. You're going to use that to line that up. So I brought in my magnetic platform, and it's got the clear sheet down, and we're going to lay down our piece of cardstock, and then I'm just going to line this down. And again, you can't see that. There's the little green tab that I created by pressing forward, and I'm just going to line that up, and you'll see that it fabulously matches up with all of the little leaves on the wreath. And then again, this one is the exact same way. You'll match it with that tag there. The little tag goes up and both tabs go up, and now you just add your other layer and run it through your Big Shot. Now that I've run it through my Big Shot, you'll see that it just pops out so perfectly. There's no need for any fussy cutting with scissors, making sure that it looks perfect. It looks perfect every time with that amazing framelit. How amazing is that? Love it. You can, of course, do this in non-Christmas colors. You could always do it with some greens and then add in some pinks for spring, or add in some pinks and blues for a baby. You can also do it like I did for this fall card. I did this one in soft suede and crumb cake and then added little orange dots, which is super fabulous there. Then this card here, I actually cut up my wreath into little pieces and then just placed them inside that little planter that's hanging from the window. How amazing. And then very similar to that one, I cut it in half, or a little less than half, and made this adorable little garland around that window. And then I used the framelits, of course, for the little ribbons there too. And then this one, which is very similar to this one here, this one was done a little bit more Christmassy, and I used the wreath there, and then of course used the little bow, and this is one of the greetings in the stamp set as well, that says, Happy Wonderful Christmas. So you can do a lot with this stamp set. Be sure to check out my blog, Laura's Stamp Pad, for all the information regarding each of these samples, and I'll see you next time. Happy stamping!